Hello and welcome to this channel, Follow Mistress Nurture. If you are here for the first time, I'm glad you found me, and I hope that this video will be a contribution to your world. And if you're returning, thank you so much for your continued support. Today I have to say, like, at least once per video, I get a comment that is kind of disparaging and judgy, and it's usually something around like how mentally unstable somebody must be in order to enjoy this kink, right? The kink of cuckolding on any side. And there's a real misconception, and I really want to make it clear that kink is only as sick as you are, only as sick as the participants who are enacting it. Now, kink is super powerful because it can really alchemize trauma into a really triumphant situation where you now have control. And generally speaking, trauma occurs in an environment where you had no control, right? So when somebody comments that you must be sick, I take serious umbrage at this, at the same time wanting to say that, yes, if you are a survivor of trauma, if you have unresolved pain and grief, if you are codependent, if you are controlling and insecure, these are all things that could really lead to a very problematic dynamic. Now, on the other side of it, if you are in emotionally good health, if you have wonderful, good boundaries and a strong sense of self and self-esteem, then your kink is going to be wholesome like that, right? It will be healthy, an expression of your own sexuality, of your kink, of your desires, and without harming your mental health. So I just want it to be really, really clear. And in the Diagnostic and Statistical Manual of Mental Disorders, the DSM-5, it is very clear that kink is not a paraphilia. Kink is not a pathological illness that needs to be treated. However, kink can be practiced by anyone who's kinky, and there are a shit ton of diagnostics that you may carry while practicing kink. So I wanted to make that distinction. Kink in and of itself, it is its own playbox, it's its own playground, its own sandbox. It's who's playing in there that brings the question or of mental health at all. All right, so I hope that this distinction kind of gave some clarity and might help if you kind of see those comments and kind of wonder about your own mental health, right? If you are a trauma survivor, if you are a people pleaser, a codependent, if you are use control, if you do know that you use control and manipulation in your relationships, these are all things to recognize and to get into therapy, get into the work that needs to be done so that you can be healthy. And and here's the most fun part. Oftentimes, people think that, like, they understand that that their kink and their trauma are linked, right? And they make the erroneous conclusion that if they were to heal their trauma, that their kink would disappear, that they wouldn't and be able to experience that anymore. And the fun part, and it's really kind of counterintuitive, I suppose, but it is true across experiences that I've seen, is that when you heal from the trauma, then what's left is play. And you can get, because you don't have to tiptoe around the edges of your trauma when you're playing, because your trauma's healed, right? So you can tromp all over that shit in a play scene, in a situation when you have healed. But until you have gone through that process of healing your trauma, you will always have limited experiences. It will always limit your experiences, and being free of trauma will always expand. It'll always expand you. So those are my words. If you like this video, please do the click thing. If you feel that it would be a contribution to your world to speak with me, I have a link in the description that will and instructions on how to reach me. And I just can't wait to see what unfolds for you all. All right. I'll leave you with that. Take care.